Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Yeah, it has been a while and you saw the title. Today we're going to be talking about Streetball All-Stars. Now, this is not me making a return, okay? I do not plan on making a return to SBA, especially not now, right? Just after I quit. It's been 2 months. I'm not still coming back, but today I just want to talk about something. So, I think just a few days ago, maybe it's been a week by now. I don't think so, but it has been a few days ago. Team Shinaro dropped a video talking about the current problems that he has with the game right now, and that being that SB is filled with many overpowered characters right now. Overpowered defensive characters, I should say, right now. So, uh, he's talking about a very big problem, obviously, and I agree with what he's saying. SBA right now is filled with way too many overpowered defensive bigs. Even then, it's not just bigs, right? There's way too many overpowered offensive powerhouses already. Players like Luis and Rika. Rika is a defensive monster, and offensively she's already so hard to stop. Or someone like Luis, who gets 18% free disturbance resistance, and also gets a free 18% disturbance on the enemy she's covering. So it's pretty much just free disturbance for not doing anything, and free disturbance resistance for pulling up any shots for free. Doesn't take any skills. And that's the defensive powerhouses on offense too. I'm not even talking about bigs yet. You've got players or characters like Elise, who still has an unbeatable dash because it's still not slowed down. Bigs like Malik, who can block even further than Ranger while having a better rebounding ability as well, which is just disrespectful. Bigs like Robbie, who still has speed mode and still has power mode that basically destroys any screens because he's just going through that, and speed mode makes him incredibly fast and have grabbing block instead against shots. It's just insane, honestly. It's insane where the game is going right now, and you know there's a reason why Teshin actually feels tired with the game too. And the only reason I'm making this video is to add it onto his lists, okay? The reason I'm making this video is because I want to point out to you guys every single thing that needs to be changed for SBA to actually be better, okay? Every single issue that the game has, I'm here to tell you guys about, okay? What are all the issues that the game have, or that the game has right now, that if they fix it, I'm not kidding, I will come back. I will come back, dude. And I'm certain a lot of players will come back as well, since I heard, right, they're actually losing players right now. And if these changes were implemented, I would come back, but let's just talk about the problems themselves first, right? So today we're going to be listing all of the problems that SBA has right now. What are the issues defensively but also offensively? What are the issues with all characters? What are the issues with gameplay? And what are the issues with just overall? And I mean just the overall things that SBA are doing. What are the problems? And we're going to be talking about that. Alright, so before anything else, firstly, I do actually want to apologize if my voice sounds readier than usual. If, you hear me take more breaths, or if the audio sounds weird in any way. This is the first time I'm actually recording on a computer. I really tried messing around and fixing this stuff, but it just seems to not go away. So yeah, I am sorry about that. But do keep in mind this is the first time I'm recording on a computer. So yeah, I'm not a professional at this, but whatever. I want to try something new, okay? That's why we're recording at a computer right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the things that SBA are just messing up right now. And if they fix it, I assure you, a lot of players are coming back, and they're gonna be having a more lively player base right now than what they currently have. So firstly, here are some of the problems that I've been talking about. So at number one here, I actually do have a list. They need to remove character restrictions. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is they need to unlock all characters again at the store. You know, characters up to Jackie, I believe. I think Jackie is where it starts to get locked. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then sure, you know, characters like those, they get locked. And unless you get them in unless you get those characters in like an event, you actually cannot get those guys normally anymore at the shop. They're locked. They're just straight up locked, and that to me is just the number one thing that like really turns off players, especially those free-to-plays. Watch ads for them, by the way, so they still do make them money. But yeah, that's one of the most that's one of the things that like turns me off the most. It's the fact that they lock all characters behind a paywall because they know every character, or mostly all new characters now, are just broken. They're straight up busted, and they're overpowered, and a lot of people pay for them. And so if they do that now, no one's gonna be paying for those OP characters anymore because they can access them with gems. And you know, some players may complain that they already bought their characters by using real money. Why are you releasing them now? But that's not an excuse. They still shouldn't actually be locking them behind a paywall, since you know, this is one of the main selling points of SBA before, when I was still new. It's the fact that there were so many characters you could choose from, and they were all actually unique. They were actually unique. That's mainly the reason I actually liked SBA in the first place. You can play a lot of characters, and they are all very much unique, and you can do a lot of different strategies because they're so different from each other. But now, since you lock them behind paywalls, well, they can't experiment anymore. The newer players, those guys that are not willing to actually spend money, but are willing to watch ads for you, that they just don't want to do it anymore because they can't get the new characters. They run out of creativity that they can actually try out. So the first problem here, one of the biggest problems right now as well in the game, they have to actually unlock the characters again. They do. They have to make the characters unlockable again on the store by just using gems. That's the first thing I want to list out. That's like one of the biggest problems that SBA has. You know, the fact that they just don't want to unlock all characters for, you know, the common man. You gotta pay for it right now, and that's just unfair. So if they do actually revert this, that would be a big change. That would turn on so many players, veterans as well, who has already quit. Imagine they're actually able to buy any character that they want now fairly. It would really turn them on, and they wouldn't play again. I can assure you that is what will happen. And again, the old process was the new character is going to be locked, and you do have to pay for him. A new introduced character, you will have to pay for him to buy him on the spot, but then he'll be unlocked next season. They should do that again. They should 100% do that again, because that is 100% a good idea. Since that's fair game, you want to use the new character now, well, you can pay us and you can use the new character now. And you know what? I think that's fair. I think that's fair. That's a good way of making money while not screwing over the free-to-plays, since all they have to do is wait 1 month and they can just use the character if they are actually interested in getting them. So yeah, again, if they unlock all characters again and they remove restrictions, they make them available to be bought with gems on the shop, that's a big fix for SBA. That is a huge fix for SBA. So with that, let's get on to our next point here, which is this. They have to nerf dunks properly. Here are some of the examples that I keep talking about. Okay, these things that I'm going to list, you guys already know about, because even before, right? Even before, I kept saying these things. And these are what's so annoying about the game offensively when it comes to dunks. Close lightning dunk for Alto specifically. Edward doesn't have this problem, Alto does. Close lightning dunk for Alto, and Lightning's close dunk, okay? Not a special dunk, just a close dunk from Lightning, you know, him sticking to the rim and then dunking it. When they use those close lightning dunk from Alto or Lightning just using a close dunk, close normal dunk, you have to jump instantly to actually block it. If you don't jump instantly, you're not blocking that shot, or that dunk I should say. If you don't jump instantly, you are not blocking that. That's just no good. Imagine being a solo big and then having a shooting guard, right? Now your teammates aren't that good, so they don't have tough guy on their shooting guard. And you're faced off with a Lightning or an Alto and another big. It just forces you to jump instantly, or else they're just gonna keep dunking on you because they're just gonna go through, since they still haven't fixed that. That's just not fun. And that's not just it either, right? Of course, we have the infamous toss down plus screen combo. This is what really started the OP stuff from happening, and it's insane since they just keep forgetting about this. They ignore it. They know it's a big problem, but they just ignore it. I don't like that. I really don't like that. They just keep ignoring this like it doesn't exist, like this problem does not exist. They just keep ignoring it. So yeah, toss dunk plus screen. If your teammates don't know how to block that, right? If your other scorer does not know how to actually block toss dunk, you're pretty much screwed. You are pretty much screwed, since you're gonna have to solo it, which is almost impossible. Okay? Against a good team, you cannot solo toss dunk plus screen. Against an actual competent toss dunk duo, it's impossible for you to actually contest those. You're getting screened no matter what. And if your teammate doesn't know what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to place himself, you're pretty much already lost. That's not only it too. We have, of course, Luis as well, or Lucy I should say, Lucy, who has those dunks, but even then, that to me is actually fair. In comparison to these, I think Lucy's ability of double pump Euro step dunk, to be fair. What I don't like is Reno. Reno's brain dead stop dunk, whatever that is. I think it's stop dunk or something. I don't even know the name of it. I hate it so much. And if he gets a screen, he uses that ability, he's just gonna go through the screen. It's another brain dead ability. It's doing the same thing over and over while being hard to stop. It's just not fair. It's very overpowered, and it's just way too hard to stop, especially for the common players who are not sweats, you know, just your casual player base. They're not gonna know how to stop that properly, and it's just not good. That's not a good thing. Why would you have an ability that's so hard to stop that only sweats can stop it? You know, not even consistently. If consistently, it has to be two sweats. Like I said, if you have one teammate that isn't that good at blocking these, you're pretty much already lost. You pretty much already lost if they don't know what to do against those. So it requires two sweats to actually stop these abilities. And that's just not a good idea. That to me is just not a good idea. And again, I haven't even covered everything, you know. Even Smart Dunk from Zachary or Pinky while getting screened, even Ben right now, you can actually sometimes win with, because he's just going to jump through a screen with his far dunks. It's insane, dude. It is insane how OP these moves are, these dunks are, and they have to nerf these dunks to make the game better. So yeah, that's another point that I have. Make the dunks even weaker. You have to actually nerf the dunks. And so let's go on with our third thing, okay? Third thing on this list is, not only do they have to nerf dunks, they have to nerf characters properly. For example, Elise. She still hasn't gotten a sprint nerf. She can still sprint in just under 5 seconds, I believe. Under 5 seconds, she can already sprint back to defense after sprinting. Like I said before, anything lower than 13 seconds, maybe even 12, let's be generous, right? Anything lower than 12 seconds, or when it comes to actually, you know, restricting her dash, giving her a cooldown less than 12 seconds is too short, okay? Anything less than 12 seconds is too short of a cooldown for Elise. It's just not fair. She's that overpowered in defense. Let's give another example. Rika. They still haven't nerfed her offensive capability, which she's already one of the best defensive characters in the game. She's already such a monster at defense. Why haven't they nerfed her ability to actually, you know, shoot those shots? She's unblockable for some players. She's way too hard to block, but she's so good at defense. Now let's look at Malik, which they nerfed a little bit. But it's not enough. He can still block further than Ranger, and he can still rebound better than Ranger. He can even stop, you know, dribblers better than other characters too. It's insane. If they have to nerf characters properly, even Yasmin, right? Yasmin, they nerfed Yasmin, saying, oh yeah, we're gonna nerf her ability to boost her teammates. What did they do? Instead of making the 20% for both contesting power or contesting disturbance and accuracy boost, instead of 20 they gave it 10. Instead of making it 5 like it should be, they made it 10, dude. Like, what is that? That's just not fair. That is just straight up not fair. So yeah, if they want to fix the game, they have to nerf characters properly. Nerf Elise, give her a dash cooldown that's longer than 13 seconds. Nerf Rika, make her easier to block. Nerf Luis, just replace that 18% ability. That's still the camel that, or the straw that broke the camel's back, right? I quit because of that. 18% disturbance resistance and disturbance to give on defense for not doing anything. No, replace that ability. Even 5% of each is insanely overpowered. That stuff is not good. That's not fair. They have to nerf characters properly. They have to nerf them, and don't just ignore them. You know, like you did a band-aid fix with Robbie, nerfing his blocking range, but you didn't even fix his ability to actually go through screens if he's on power mode, or you know, his ability to screen so big because his body is so big. The robot's body is way too big, so his screen is insanely big as well. And so it's very overpowered when it comes to actually doing toss dunk or other dunk abilities. They still haven't fixed that. They haven't nerfed it properly. They gotta got all characters properly and not just ignore other characters because they're selling well. So that's another fix that they have to do. Alright, moving on to our fourth point. They have to nerf contested trees properly. Look, I've always said this. If there is one character in the game that I am okay with at making contested trees because that is his job, it's Fire King. Fire King is the only character I want to consistently make contested trees. But I want it to only be 1 or 2 per game if it's Fire King. Alright, that's already the best, right? That is already the best. Fire King, 1 or 2. But not only can Fire King do it, all SGs can do it. They can make not 1, not just 2, but 3 to 4, even 5 sometimes, contested trees per game. Does that sound fair to you? Because to me it does not. 3 to 5 contested trees per game for all shooting guards, not just Fire King, for all shooting guards except Friedman, probably. Except for Friedman, all shooting guards can make 3 to 5 contested trees per game. And here's the crazier part: Luis, a small forward, can also make 3 to 5 contested trees per game. How is that fair? How is that fair? That is not fair. All shooting guards plus Luis, the girl who already has 18% boost on both, can make trees. Not just any trees, 3 to 5 contested trees per game. That is an insane rate, dude. Completely insane rate of contested trees going in. It is crazy. And again, it's not just Fire King, it's all shooting guards. Taylor, Marcus, Misaki, even Hoy. It's not unusual for them to make just 3 to 5 trees per game, contested trees per game. It's insane. It is insane how powerful contested trees are right now, and they need to be nerfed properly. They 100% need to be nerfed properly. So that's another one on the list that they have to do, right? They have to nerf trees properly. To be more exact, contested trees. Wide open trees, buff them. I don't care, buff them. It only makes sense, right? That wide open trees actually go in. With contested trees, they have to nerf that. My Marcus is missing 1 tree every other 3 shots, right? 1 3-pointer he's gonna miss after every 3 shots, and he already has about 190 3-point rating. Then you've got Luis making 5 out of 5 of her contested trees. I'm not even joking. This happened to me once. 5 out of 5 of Luis's contested trees all went in without Yasmin's boost. Does that seem fair? To me it doesn't. And they should fix that, honestly. Now, time for my 5th fix for the game. They also have to nerf 2-pointers. Alright, here's another one. You know Yasmin, right? The girl who gets defensive bonus for nothing. The girl who can shoot 3 to 5 contested trees per game, and that's normal. Well, you know, Luis doesn't miss two-pointers either. And I don't mean this as a hyperbole. Oh yeah, I'm overreacting on purpose, right? No, she literally doesn't miss any two-pointers. She makes more two-pointers contested than Rika does. It's that bad. She makes more contested trees than Rika, or yeah, more contested trees than Rika and more contested twos than Rika, while having an 18% debilitating effect on defense against defenders. I mean, do I even have to say anything? It's insane. She's already so OP at two-pointers, or at three-pointers, she's OP at twos as well. The problem doesn't stop just there. You've got point guards randomly shooting twos and they're making it in. And then you got Justin making two-pointers and he misses when he's wide open or, you know, slightly contested. He misses. Justin, the point guard that's supposed to be really good at two-pointers, missing contested two-pointers even though that is what he was made for. But then you have Luis. You have all these characters just using two-pointers even while extremely contested and they still all go in. Ben, for example, he shoots a contested two. Most of the time that is going to miss. You know, characters like Camille, I get it. Do not nerf them. That is what you're supposed to do. Julian, Retta, don't nerf them. They're supposed to shoot contested trees. Even Dora. With Luis, who's already good at trees, why would you make her very good at twos as well? That's just not fair. That is just straight up not fair, dude. You know, characters like Rika, who's already so good at defense, why would you make her so good at shooting twos when she's already so good at defense? I guess hers can be, you know, defended a little bit since really my problem with her isn't that she's really accurate at two-pointers, it's that she's hard to stop offensively, but that still proves my point, right? So many characters are so broken and overpowered that everything needs to be nerfed. Dunking needs to be nerfed. Three-pointers, contested three-pointers to be exact, needs to be nerfed. And even two-pointers needs to be nerfed. You gotta buff up actual characters who are meant to do these, which are old characters, but just because they're old doesn't mean you should just leave them. Because that's what they're doing, right? They're just ignoring them and focusing on new characters to make them even more OP. And it shows on the two-pointers. Luis doesn't miss on the two-pointers. They gotta fix that. That's another thing that they have to fix. Nerf dunks, nerf trees, and now they also have to nerf two-pointers. They do. And if they fix this, I assure you, a lot of people will be returning because it's going to be more fair. It's going to be more fair. So with that, let's go ahead and get into our next one. So the next one on our list is going to be, they have to buff old characters properly. Okay, it has to be proper buffs. Let's talk about Mei. So Mei gets buff, right? She's got a shooting buff, and actually right now she's still a really good point guard because of the buffs, but immediately she gets nerfed along with Havoc and Hoi. Their quick fix, DF2 moment, but yeah, their quick shot, they were nerfed. Why? They didn't need to be nerfed. They did not need to be nerfed. They were already not OP, and way more characters were harder to defend than them. So they buffed her and then nerfed her immediately again. Let's go back to Big O. Sure, Big O has better power now. But why did you remove his ability to actually pass more properly? That's what he is good at. He's not really meant for dunking. Since he's not overall powerful still, he's just a little more powerful now. So That isn't a proper buff either. Big Mike didn't need a Thunder Dunk. He was good with the hook shot. Just make it about as good as Saris and it would have been fine. But no, you give him Thunder Dunk, which he didn't even need. And Howie doesn't need a buff in Thunder Dunk, he just needs proper buffs all around. But they're not properly buffing characters. It's just disrespectful. Ranger doesn't even get a level 4 flying block, but Malik does. That's not proper buffing. That's just unfair. That is just straight up unfair, dude, for old characters. They have to give proper buffs. That's another one of the list that I have, right? My list here. That is another one. SBA has to buff their characters properly so that they actually are used again. Victor is getting ignored still. Victor still hasn't got a major buff even when he really needs it. He does. Victor needs buffs and he doesn't get any. No one's using key pick now because it doesn't matter. They're gonna be making 2s anyway. You gotta buff characters properly. You need to do proper buffing already. Start with Howie. Howie needs it the most. And then keep going and keep buffing older characters because that's how it should be. That's the proper way to actually, you know, approach this. You have to buff these characters. You have to buff these older characters more than the newer ones. So yeah, again, that's another one. And let's move on to, I think, my 7th note right now, which is going to be they have to fix rebounding. And I've said it before, all they have to do to fix rebounding is one thing. They just have to do one thing. To be fair, it's actually one thing paired with another, right? But it's just one thing. You just have to do one thing. And that's by making it so that characters cannot bypass each other with flicks when they get boxed out. Okay, when a character gets boxed out, they shouldn't be able to flick. The flick should be disabled for a moment if they touch box out. With that simple trick, I assure you so many more bigs are getting used because they can actually rebound those shots. So that's all they have to do and they still aren't doing it. All you have to do is disable flick if you get boxed out. And I'm telling you, rebounding will be revived properly. It's going to be so much fun to actually rebound again if they just make it so that flick can't bypass box outs. Make it so that characters don't bounce away if you box them out. That's the real reason of the problem as well. When you box out somebody, even if they don't have the skill box out resistance or box out what's the other one? The one that avoids it, right? If you don't have those ability, anti-box out, that's it. Anti-box out pretty much just moves you away from box out immediately anyway, but if you don't have the ability box out resistance, even if you don't have it, they're just gonna keep bouncing off of you. And that's what really kills rebounding. Like, imagine you successfully box out as a Howie, right? You boxed out the Vanessa. And so you jump for the ball, but then Vanessa just flicks it, or she still just jumps for it and gets it anyway. Does that seem fair to you? To me, it does not. It does not seem fair to me. So yeah, that's one more thing. That's just the one thing they have to do to fix rebounding. Make it so that characters who don't have box out resistance cannot bounce out of a box out and they get stuck in the box out. And that number 2, they can't flick if they're boxed out. Imagine just how many players would use Big Joanne because she actually ignores that ability, right? She has resist the box out, which makes her able to flick or rebound even if she's getting boxed out because she doesn't care. That's her ability. Imagine how much more popular she becomes. Imagine just how good this is for all the bigs that aren't rebound focused. It'll be so much more fun for them. It's actually going to be make them viable in rebounding. So yeah, that's just one more thing that they haven't done yet, that if they did, it's gonna benefit the game so much, make it more fun. Again, it's by fixing rebounding, by doing that one simple change. By making it so that characters with no box out resistance don't bounce away if they get boxed out. And if they do get boxed out, they cannot flick or rebound. Or no, they can rebound, but they cannot flick, okay? They shouldn't be able to flick once you box them out. You box them out, it's fair game from there, you take the ball. They shouldn't be able to flick it away. So that's one more thing that they can do to actually fix the game. So, the next one, which would be number 8 right now, I think. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, number 8. They just don't respect newer players. Now, you can make the argument, right? Oh, they give them so much stuff to work with. They make them gamble, and then they boost the odds, and then they get a new character that's also OP. Sure, but they're just disrespecting them. So here's a couple problems, right? Newer players, they get a boost on accuracy when they are new. And I don't mean a little bit of a boost, I mean a very significant boost, where if they shoot contested trees, or even twos, but mostly contested trees, if it's a terrible shot, most of the time it's still going in. Yeah, they're still getting those shots to go in because they boost their accuracy. This just promotes ball hogging. Why would you pass if you just keep shooting it? You're gonna make it anyway. So why pass? You know, it promotes ball hogging. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea. Not only that, once these characters actually get past platinum, get past titanium, and then get to crystal or diamond, they're faced off with so many OP characters. How are you gonna stop Rika as a new player? How are you gonna stop Luis as a new player? How are you gonna get past Elise's defense? How are you gonna get past Malik's defense? How would you get past these if you're a new player? The answer is you have to be good to stop them, to get past them. But how are you gonna get good if you never know what to do because you keep getting destroyed by them anyway? Then the next noob enemy that you get, well, you're actually using Luis, so it's gonna be hard to stop them anyway. How are you supposed to get through them? It's one more problem. They don't respect their new players. They really don't. They don't want to respect their new players. And lastly on my list, so number 9, they don't respect their veteran players either. Me, you know, Teshin, even my friends, my other friends, they do not respect them. If you respected these guys, content creators as well, you'd listen to what they're saying. And what they're saying are just genuine facts. Everything about this game is so overpowered right now. They need to nerf these things. The only players who are defending these are players who dumped a lot of money and are using cheesy characters to keep dominating on high tier battles. Because, you know, all they have there is dunk spam and contested 3 bullcrap. And contested 2 bullcrap as well. So yeah. Those are the only guys defending this. Veteran players are not defending this because they legitimately enjoy the game, like me. I really love the game, that's why I left. It just, they don't respect their veteran players. Just like they don't respect the new players by doing this to them. It's insane. And they have to respect their veteran players and the new players. So yeah, those are the main points, the main problems that SBA has. That if they fix those, it's gonna be really good. The game is gonna get so much better. So again, let me list them again one by one. So number one would be they have to unlock all characters again, make them not restricted. Number two, they have to nerf dunks properly. You know, Altos close lightning dunk and lightning's normal close dunk. They have to make it so that you don't have to jump instantly to actually block those. We got Conan and Edward's toss dunk. They have to nerf it so that it can't go through screens anymore. Any dunks honestly shouldn't be able to go through screens, or at the very least make it have a bigger hitbox so you can block it easier. Renos brain dead stop dunk. You gotta stop that as well. Make it unable to go through screens. This one is just straight up not be able to go through screens. It's just really annoying to go up against, and if you're a solo, especially if your teammates aren't that good, you're pretty much dead already. So they have to nerf that properly by making it so that you can't dunk through screens anymore. Of course, number three, we have nerf characters properly. You know, Elise got a block range reduction. That's not proper because she still can dash every 5 seconds. Robbie got a block range reduction. That's not fair because he can still screen so big and he can still actually go through screens in power mode with no problem instantly. It's not proper nerfs, so they have to nerf characters properly. Number four, they have to nerf contested trees properly. 3 to 5 per game is insane. Even Fire King should be able to make that many. Even Fire King, man, he should not be able to make that many. That's just crazy. Number 5, they have to nerf 2s again, even though they buffed it. The amount of effects you can do, or you can give your characters now, just make this entirely too OP, especially characters that are already OP. It makes them even more OP. It's not fair. So they have to nerf 2s properly again. Number 6, buff old characters properly, like Big O. Give him back his passing ability or something. Big Mike, don't just give him Thunder Dunk and then leave him. You have to buff him properly, especially Howie. You have to buff characters properly, old characters properly. So number 7, fix rebounding again by making this one simple change. Make it so that Flick can't bypass box outs and that players with no box out resistance or anti-box out shouldn't bounce away when they're getting boxed out. They shouldn't bounce away. And flicking should not actually bypass box outs. Number 8, they have to respect the new players coming into the game by doing all of these. Okay, if they do all these, they will respect the new players. You can't expect new players to know how to block Rika properly or Luis properly, or to go up against Elise properly or against Malik properly if they are actually overpowered in the first place. Respect them by nerfing these guys and saying everything said on this video, or making everything that's said on this video. Number 9, respect the veteran players by listening to what they actually say. If you really respect the veteran players, they won't just leave just all willy-nilly, right? You're gonna want to stay because they know that they're doing something for the better, that the devs are actually listening to their advice. That's not what's happening, but they should. So yeah, number 9, respect the veteran players. Listen to their suggestions. Listen to their suggestions properly. Alright? Well, those are all the things that I want SBA to look into. These are the things I want SBA to fix, because these are the problems with SBA right now. These are the current problems. That's a lot, right? It's a real lot. SBA right now has a lot of problems. And starting by fixing some of these problems, all of them don't have to be fixed immediately, just one update. But starting by fixing one of these problems, that's the best thing they can do right now. And that's gonna start, or that's just gonna start them in in the right path. One step to the right path. They fix one of these in the next update. Will they? Definitely not, but I don't know. Let's hope for a miracle, I guess. But yeah, with that being said, those are all the problems that SBA has right now that I've always mentioned. Because guess what? I have another list here. That's right. I have another list. I knew these things existed, and they are problems that SBA has that I just didn't talk about. They are problems that existed for a long time. It's just that I don't mention them in any of my videos. And since I'm listing all the problems about SBA right now anyway, well, we might as well talk about all problems that I just have not mentioned in my videos but still exist to this day, and who knows, maybe they will fix them if we get a miracle to go. So yeah, let's go ahead and list the problems of SBA that I just have not been talking about. Alright, so we're going to be starting this list from least important to most important. So that means least important means it's not the most that will affect your game. You know, if you play the game, it's not going to be the thing that negatively affects you the most, right? It's not going to be too bad. It's not going to be too bad compared to, you know, the real problems they're already facing on SBA. To legitimately just game-breaking hindrances to characters that will legitimately put you in a handicap, because yeah, problems like that do exist that I just haven't talked about. It exists though, it legitimately exists. So let's go ahead and talk about these ones. So at number 9, this one is placed at number 9 because my friend just said this to me, so let's say allegedly, even though on other characters this is genuinely a thing. So number 9, allegedly, if you give a pinpoint pass to Lucy, you know, the dunker, there's a good chance that 100% of the time, if you actually give her a pinpoint pass, she's just gonna get stuck in a dribbling animation or a holding the ball animation, and she won't be able to double pump dunk, normal dunk, or move around at all, honestly. She just gets stuck and you're gonna have to pass it back out. Now I say this allegedly because I didn't see this with Lucy yet, but this legitimately does happen with Marcus as well. So yeah, that's the first problem we're gonna be starting with. Again, not too game breaking, pretty annoying, but again, it's not too game breaking. It's not the worst thing in the world out there, you know. Could be worse, basically. Could be way worse. So with that being said, let's get into number 8. So number 8, character introduction notes are inconsistent. What do I mean by this? That means those characters where you should be able to see their notes, they have introduction notes, they have introduction trailers next to those notes. Well, they're all inconsistent. Some characters have perfect ones, like Martin, you know. Martin, Marcus, Rocket, Fire King, Vanessa. These characters, Daisuke, they all have proper introductions. Everything's listed properly, and they actually do have videos. Some characters have it listed, but they don't actually have any videos. Characters like Alto doesn't actually have an intro, you know? Characters like Sarah, those guys, they do not have an intro. But then, some characters don't even have those notes. You know? It doesn't exist for some of them. I think Taylor doesn't have one. Reno, I'm pretty sure, also doesn't have one. So they don't even have those notes. So you can't see their trailers since they don't even exist. You can't press it because it's not showing up. So yeah, again, another one that isn't too bad. Mostly annoying, but not too bad. But it's still a problem that exists that I just really don't talk about. So at number 7, Big Mike's grabbing block shows level 4 effect when you actually get it to activate, but it's only level 3. You know, I actually tested this out way before and saw that yes, it only actually still activates at level 3 rate. This means people might get misled, since Big Mike only has a level 3 grabbing block and a level 4 dunk grabbing, but this level 3 grabbing block actually shows the level 4 effect, even though it only activates at the level 3 rate. This means you don't actually get it 7 to 8 times out of 10. You only get it about, I'd say 4 to 5 times, maybe even less. It's only the level 3 rate, right? You're not getting it at level 4 rates, even though level 4 animation activates. That's just not, that's what's happening. So yeah, that's Big Mike has been bugged like this for so long, ever since release actually. Or should I say ever since level 4 was introduced. This was not always a thing, but yeah, when level 4 was introduced, this has always happened to Big Mike and they still haven't fixed it. So yeah. Yeah, not too bad. Starting to get into problematic, but not too bad. It's not too bad, but yeah, it is starting to get problematic. So at number 6, we have a pretty recent one actually. What wording is wrong for Big Truck Fix? Okay, the wording is just completely wrong. You get speed if your dunk gets contested, not if you contest a dunk successfully. It says you will gain speed if you contest a dunk successfully, which will lead you to believe, I have to block a dunk and at least contest it, even if I actually block it or I get dunked on. As long as I make contact, I'm gonna get speed, right? No. You only get speed if you successfully dunk on someone or someone contests your dunk. So the wording is just completely wrong. This is not for defenders, this is just for offensive players. This is for characters like Reno. So no, you don't get speed boosts if you actually are good at defense. You just get speed boost if you dunk on someone, you dunk properly, or you just get your dunk contested. If you get blocked, you don't actually get any boost. But yeah, the wording here is completely wrong. It shouldn't be said like this, like you're gonna get a speed boost if you contest dunk. No, you're gonna get a speed boost if someone contests your dunk. So yeah, the wording is just completely wrong here, which is pretty bad. This one is legitimately pretty bad. It can get very problematic. They have to fix the wording on this for sure. So yeah, that's number 6 on my list. So we move on to number 5. Here at number 5, we have no level 3 specialist talent still. Yeah. You know the +7 for level 2 that you always get, or +5 for level 1? Yeah, there's no +9 because on the talent, you know, the talent refresh cards that you have to spend, the specialist cards, which gives you raw stat, so steal specialist or rebound specialist, they give you raw rebound or raw steal. Level 3s of those don't actually exist. Yeah, only level 2s exist, and that's why you are never able to get that. Which I don't know why, right? Since with expert you actually do get level 3s, but with specialist you never get raw stat that's actually level 3. So that's a bug that's existed for quite some time. I just haven't mentioned it. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. You just can't get a level 3, especially for those new players who think you can get a level 3 specialist. That's been a problem for a while, but you can't actually get it. It's just impossible to get. So that's why it's at number 5. It's pretty bad, right? It's legitimately pretty bad. But yeah, let's go on to number 4. So, with number 4, you have this one. Martin's accuracy after a pull-up is still reduced if you connect a jab step into a shot immediately. This means if you are jab stepping with Martin and you do a fake pull-up, but you chain that immediately to a sprint dunk or to another pull-up, your accuracy is pretty much reduced by 1 pump fake already. And they still haven't fixed that. Now, I don't think they're ever gonna fix it, but is this very important? It is, because this limits Martin so much. Imagine being able to pump fake with a jab step and then immediately connect to a dunk. That would be awesome. You can't. If you do that, a lot of the times you're just gonna miss. You are just going to straight up miss. So that's why it's bad. You're not actually able to do that. You can't connect it because your accuracy is getting removed, or reduced, I should say. Your accuracy is getting reduced immediately, and that's just not good. Which is why they have to fix it for Martin, so that if you jab step and pull up, once you dribble, even if it's still connected with that jab step, you shouldn't have your accuracy lowered down. Martin already struggles at mid-range, right? So many characters are OP at mid-range. Martin still misses even if you give him max. So having this here just nerfs him even more. So yeah, they have to properly buff Martin. And they can buff him by removing this problem right here. If he does a fake jab step and dribbles while still connected to that jab step, if he dribbles immediately, he should be able to actually shoot with full accuracy. It shouldn't be contested, or it shouldn't be reduced. So that's number 4. And here's number 3. When dunkers, especially toss dunk, okay? This works with all dunkers, but this is more prolific when you're using toss dunk. When the dunkers are actually blocked, you know, Edward, if he gets blocked, if the PGs dive, even if they're at the same position, 99% of the time, the PG that's going to get the ball is going to be on the scorer's side, you know, the dunker that just got blocked. 99% of the time, they're the ones that are actually getting the ball. They're the ones that are going to get the ball because why not, right? They're the ones dunking, even if you're in the same position. 99% of the time, the one getting the ball is actually going to be the PG that is teamed up with the dunker. And the only real way to actually get this, as you being the enemy, you know, you're the one defending the dunkers, and you dive for the ball at the same position as the point guard, the only way most of the time that you can actually get this is if you have better fixes than your opponent. That's pretty much it. If you don't have better fixes, then no. You don't have a chance of getting a better, or getting the ball, you know. You don't actually have a chance of getting the ball, which is just not good. That's just not good. But yeah, that's one more problem. It's a pretty big problem, honestly. If the PG and the enemy PG dives at the same time, if the dunker gets blocked, especially a toss dunker, 9 times out of 10, the one that's teamed up with the toss dunker that got blocked is the one that's getting the ball. And That's just problematic. So they gotta fix that as well, which they said they fixed. Not really. They didn't fix it. They're lying again, of course. But yeah. On to number two. So number two, this makes me mad. This makes me really mad since, again, it's been so long, right? I've figured this out for so long, I just haven't been saying it, but now I'm gonna say it. Nikolai's powerful disturbance is actually bugged. It doesn't work sometimes if you're, especially if you're actually spamming the defend button. If you spam the defend button, especially if you spam the defend button, sometimes it's just going to show up as slightly contested. Just lightly contested instead of being severe or normal. It's just going to be lightly contested because it bugged out because you're spamming the defend button, which shouldn't be a thing. That's just stupid. Nikolai's powerful disturbance is one of his most important tools. In fact, his most, in my opinion. Since Rika and Andrew already gives you so much disturbance, and Luis as well with 18. And Nikolai, the guy meant for defense, for contesting shots, his ability is bugged. And it doesn't even activate sometimes. It's just not right. So yes, it doesn't even activate sometimes. And how do I know that it's actually bugged? Well, it's because if it activates, my Nikolai actually doesn't just give out a slightly contested or normal contested. It's always severely contested when it activates. Mid-range too, right? Not even just 3-pointers, mid-range too. It activates and it shows always severely contested. But no, it doesn't even show severely contested here. So that means it's bugged. It just doesn't activate sometimes. Especially if you're spamming the defend button. And it's just not right. They gotta fix that as well for Nikolai. Since he's already being outclassed by so many OP defenders, so many OP bigs. He's getting outclassed already. So they have to fix that for Nikolai. So that's why it's at number 2. This is incredibly bad for Nikolai, right? This is incredibly bad. But yeah, that's another thing that I just haven't been saying, but that's been active for so long. And at number 1, this is the one that I always wanted to say, but just haven't said it. I don't know why I just don't talk about it, but this has been since release of the game, okay? Ever since the release of the game, this has always been a thing. Rocket cannot use follow-up dunk after a flick and struggles to use follow-up shot. You barely get follow-up shot to activate if you flick the ball as Rocket, and 100% you are unable to actually do a follow-up dunk if you flick the ball as Rocket. Of course, I only noticed this when they did the rebound update, you know, where they made flick overpowered. That's where I noticed this. You legitimately cannot actually follow-up dunk if you already flick the ball. And if you flick the ball, it's going to be very hard for you to activate follow-up shot. So that's why it passed most of the time, but then they removed that ability as well. So yeah, Rocket cannot follow-up dunk after a flick, and he struggles to do a follow-up shot. This is just very bad for Rocket, especially since follow-up dunks is his main way of actually scoring. Not to mention, it's already so inaccurate, right? Which they have to fix too. They gotta make it way more accurate. Rocket's follow-up dunk is so bad. It misses so much of the time, dude. So much of the time it just misses that it's not even funny. They gotta buff it already with that, right? But not only that, you can't even use it once you flick. Which is a big part of Rocket's game now, since he's actually not a pure rebounder anymore. A lot of bigs are better rebounding than him now because he's not a pure rebounder. So yeah, they have to fix Rocket by number 1, of course, again, nerf or buff the accuracy of follow-up dunk, put back dunk, but also they have to actually fix it so that he can use follow-up dunk or follow-up shot after a flick. Because yes, this has been here since release. This has been a problem for Rocket. He literally cannot use follow-up dunk after a flick, and that's just not right. So that's number one on my list of things that I just don't talk about, but has always been a problem for the game. So yeah, that's it for the video, guys. That is it for the video. I just wanted to list all the problems that SBA have, since again Team Shinaru did make a video saying how bad OP defenders have been, which I 100% agree with, but this is this is a list that contains more, legitimately every single problem that SBA has. And if they start fixing these problems, I can assure you more players are going to come back, newer players are going to like this game even more, and I'll probably come back as well. I really will, man. So yeah, again, this is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not returning, okay? I am not going to be returning to this game unless they did some massive changes, like implementing some of these that I talked about. But yeah, I'm not going to be coming back to the game, but I do hope that you actually enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new, especially if you are a newer player. The problems that I mentioned that I just really don't talk about but do exist, they do still exist right now. They are still problems that occur, and they still haven't fixed. But, let's hope that they do in the future, Maybe a miracle will happen. They're actually gonna care for their fans again, their player base. And, yeah, I just really miss the old SBA. I really do miss the old SBA without all this OP bull crap happening. But what can you do? It's where the game is currently going towards to, which is everything OP have to pay to win. So let's just hope that they'll actually listen. Miracle will happen and they'll actually listen. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. If you got this far, actually watching and listening to me rant, thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching the video as well. And if you have any ideas on what video you want to see next, go ahead and tell me down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to read them and check out your suggestions if you have any. So yeah, again guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one.